Namaste. This discussion is on yoga and the environment, healing the disease and divide through yoga, and balanced ways of living in union with nature. The 5 koshas and their relationship with prakriti, nature. Why yoga and nature, or yoga and the environment? Well, we are collectively at a point of crisis between ourselves and the environment. It has become hard for many to see and feel and live in connection with nature. There is so much divide in modern life. People live in urban isolation. Lives are spent inside. Core aspects of our connection with nature, like growing one's own food, have been devalued and forgotten. In the process, we've opened ourselves up to food shipped from thousands of miles away, grown in conditions that are often harmful to the land and to the people. Distanced systems result in more plastic used to transport goods from further and further places, sometimes even crisscrossing the world just to come back again home. Plastic is a material valued for its cheapness, versatility, and disposability, but it is also a product of the oil extractive industries, and thus a symptom of the continual destruction of the earth. As well, plastic so quickly becomes waste and leaves damages for hundreds, if not thousands, of years. The earth reminds us that nothing comes without cost. As things are, waste and pollution are the externalities of a system severely decentered, hollowed out, or lost, so to speak. The carbon accrued through these off-balanced human relationships with Earth melts the glaciers, acidifies the oceans, creates warming inhospitable for species, generates increased storms and wildfires, and creates vulnerabilities such as mass pandemics. Earth is showing us she is suffering, but we have not yet met her with proper responses. There is much action after the fact, but a decided lack of mindfulness and care. Actions are more out of fear than of love. Reactions are common rather than proaction and a conscious exploration to understand. If change is directed outwards, there will always be an endless source of problems to fix, as fighting fires only works on the symptoms and not the cure. For these imbalances between humans, or ourselves, and the environment, first we have to start within. For this, yoga, the practice of union, is a way forward. Union with oneself, union with the seen and unseen energies of this world, and the knowledge embodied within the thousands of years of the yoga practice gives keys and new ancient approaches to our modern dilemmas. So today is a discussion of the 5 koshas and how we can understand them as related to the environment. First off, what are the 5 koshas? Koshas are the interdependent sheaths of our being. They are the notion that we are more than just the physical body, and that our senses and awareness extend beyond the material realm. The causes of our actions and our thinking are found in more subtle realms of our being. Understanding these different layers can help us come into balance with oneself. In fact, the understanding within yoga is that the doors of perception open inward, and that once the internal body is in harmony, then this will radiate outwards. The 5 koshas relate to what is called the gross, physical or material body, the subtle body, which relates to the subconscious, and the astral or causal body, which relates to the superconsciousness. We can think of the 5 koshas like layers of an onion. We have the external physical body, but then peeling inward, we get more subtle layers of being. The 5 koshas are the Annamaya kosha, the physical body, the pranamaya kosha, the energy body, the vital forces, the manomaya kosha, the mental and emotional body, the vijnanamaya kosha, the wisdom and intuitive body, and the anandamaya kosha, the bliss body, happiness body, peace body. These koshas are associated also with the 5 elements and chakras, but we won't go into that now. So how this chart is arranged is to illustrate points of imbalance on the left, and then in general how to theorize about internal imbalances, and then on the right are ideas for the process of rebalancing. Starting with the outside physical body, the realm of the physical elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, let's look at the Annamaya kosha. Anna in Sanskrit means food, or that which nourishes us. So how does this kosha demonstrate off balance and disease? This body becomes off balance through desires that go beyond the needs of the physical body. We all need food, shelter, clothing, and so forth, but the earth is burdened by using and consuming too much. We have also poisoned the elements of the earth with chemicals and pesticides to the point that water is polluted, air is polluted, soil, the earth is polluted, fire is uncontrollable. Almost everywhere we look in the physical realm is an example of the influence of the human species on the environment. In the next level of being is the life force body, the pranayama kosha. Prana is the life force flowing through all earth, the energy of both the breath and the flow of water. When our energy is blocked, we feel sluggish, are more susceptible to negative thoughts, sickness, and disease. We are like frogs in the boiling pot, not realizing how bad the damage already is, and we are getting used to it. In most urban areas, the air is polluted, but there is little recognition of this. It's treated almost as if it is normal. Because of environmental pollution, our energy body or vital forces become polluted and blocked. The next kosha is the manomaya kosha, related to our thinking, also to our emotions. A wrong understanding of nature leads to the environmental destruction that we see today. Thinking that science holds all the answers, for instance, leads to damaging nature with GMOs, pesticides, monocropping, and abandoning traditional knowledge systems. The mind as ego tricks us to think we are right, that we own and control nature. Thinking that we need to control nature and or thinking that we are separate from nature creates a world of division and destruction. Wisdom is necessary to make intelligence compassionate, just, and kind. Also, without proper nourishment and attention to the Annamaya and the Pranamaya koshas, the Manomaya kosha weakens and can turn negative. Manomaya kosha is also the realm of the emotions. Imbalances in emotion play out in apathy, despair, hopelessness, numbness, and mental instability to deal with the times. These all disrupt the thinking, feeling, and being. The next kosha is the Vijnanamaya kosha. The next kosha is the Vijnanamaya kosha, the right knowledge or wisdom body. This kosha shows us that the intellectual mind is blocked because of incorrect knowledge and incorrect discrimination. Facts can mislead. Book learning does not equate to wisdom and discerning awareness. The structure of what is taught in the modern school system leaves out many important aspects, such as a deep understanding about the local environment and environmental ethics. Essentially, modern society teaches to value the wrong things, such as consuming and accumulating, rather than deepening connection with self, community, and our world. In urban settings, People grow up and live detached from their local environment and are not taught the skills needed for living in balance with nature. We have structures built around goals that lead not to a healthy society, but to a more sick society. As a result, people also lack the awareness to ask more critical questions and seek deeper ecological knowledge and cohesion. For instance, asking, who am I and how am I a part of all of this? Modern society in general is not aware of the environmental connections that are missing. Without understanding the complexity of a forest or a reef, for instance, one cannot read the signs of sickness. The same patterns of wrong knowledge are repeated with more and more veracity and detrimental impacts as the generations go on. And with all this, if we consider the last layer, the most subtle inner realm of the Anandamaya Kosha, one finds the opposite of the connection that we are supposed to feel. Instead of love, understanding, and peace, in place is a complete divide. Humans cannot operate from higher states of being if their physical, energy, mental, and wisdom bodies are blocked. Multiple layers of dis-ease cannot lead to happiness and bliss. Because all of these dimensions are weak, the awareness of interconnectedness, the doorway to higher consciousness, is blocked. So how can we work with the koshas to remedy these imbalances? For the Annamaya Kosha, we can be aware that the physical or gross elements can become healthy through organic vegetarian foods, spending time in non-polluted environments, including free of noise and light pollution, and living in balance with nature, for instance, consuming less, zero-waste living, and organic living. Walking in nature, forest bathing, gardening, these are also healthy activities for Annamaya Kosha. Purifying the 5 elements in the physical realm allows for deeper transformation in the subtle and astral realms. To restore balance in the Pranamaya Kosha, we can look to restoring the vital systems of earth through such activities as planting trees to allow for more oxygen, making gardens to allow for more nutrients to flow, and cleaning and restoring waterways to purify and replenish water sources. These practices allow prana to flow freely. Also, actively speaking out about pollution sources from extractive industries, factories, waste incinerators, and so forth works to defend healthy prana systems. Essentially, to realign this kosha, stop water, air, noise, and light pollution from interfering with the vital forces. To come into harmony with our thinking and feeling, we need to focus on right thinking within the Manamaya Kosha. First off is to shift from egocentric thinking to eco-centric thinking. We are all one and integrated within the whole of life. A healthy relationship with one's ego means not attaching identity with consumption and possession. Also beneficial is unlearning thoughts that separate us from nature, such as buying into the consumption rat race and being hyper-engaged with the constant barrage of media drama. One needs to focus one's energy on learning practices that lead to belonging with nature, such as eco-literacy and place-based education. This can also come through the yoga practices of calming and centering meditation and yoga nidra. The next stage is working with our wisdom body in the Vijnanamaya Kosha. Wisdom is seeking the interconnection and full range of impact of one's actions beyond space and time, and working to minimize harms, for instance through localization and closed-loop systems of care, or understanding the full cycle of impact of one's electronics or clothing choices. Wisdom is also having a deep connection to one's local environment as an extension of self. This deeper connection will allow one to recognize when systems are out of balance and to know with both wisdom and intuition what needs to be done. An example of this is the wisdom passed down through generations in indigenous communities about how to care for the earth. In the last layer, we arrive at the Anandamaya Kosha with this new awareness. The koshas are balanced and we can step into this state of higher consciousness and awareness. Our bodies are harmonized with the elements. We pay attention to the vital energy flowing through the breath and veins. We connect our attention mindfully. We use our wisdom to build communities of care and mindful systems. Through this, we can then realize our bliss body and a balanced, peaceful state of being. May all realize this balance of Anandamaya Kosha, living in balance internally and externally. This is our true nature, one with the earth, one with ourselves, one with each other. I hope this visual provides a useful guide for working with your koshas and finding the balance within to radiate without, an appreciation of a healthy, vital, and abundant nature. May the yoga path guide you to deeper connections and a feeling of love and oneness with this planet. As we heal, so does the earth. Tat Twamasi. Realize this essential nature. Thank you. Namaste.